150 miles south of Dominica lies the island of St. Vincent. It's a land of rugged mountains, steep valleys, and dense forests. In the capital of Kingstown, you can't help noticing the national bird, the St. Vincent parrot. So you know a certain conservation bandwagon has rolled through here. The parrot even receives rave reviews in taverns, since a local brewery adopted a parrot symbol and the slogan, "One love, one bird, one beer." Beer sales have soared. Ingenuity on St. Vincent has a long history. The botanical gardens date to 1763, the first in the Western Hemisphere. The gardens still include a breadfruit tree brought from Tahiti by the legendary Captain William Bligh. The collection of plants from around the world attracts locals and tourists alike. Today, Vincentians are undertaking a new effort to preserve their native environment.
This is a pair that replaced the one that died last season.
Is it breeding now?
Yes, it's breeding.
The Parrot Aviary and Breeding Center, managed by Lennox Kwame, has taken the preservation of the St. Vincent parrot a step beyond just protecting habitat.
Here she is. She's coming out now.
She's aggressive now.
They're still talking like they used to?
They're still talking. Hello, morning.
Morning.
Not anymore. But it's a very good pair. So from the time
I hear them calling over there.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
You've had 5 young so far, right?
Yes, from this one.
That's
right here.
really excellent.
Yeah, that's good. It's pretty good pair.
For a species that people said was very difficult to breed, you've
Very
had
difficult to
remarkable
breed.
success. Huh?
Yes. I think the condition here is right for it. Although it's not the natural environment, it's close to it. So I think that is an added.
How long do they sit on the eggs for?
Well, it's done here for about 27 days.
Great.
It's the female only will incubate the eggs.
So the male is just sitting around somewhere? I don't see the male.
The male is on the far side there. Or he just protect the nest box while she's sitting.
So how many do you think we'll get this year?
Well, it's difficult to say, but I hope we get a lot this year.
Under the leadership of Lennox Kwame, who's in charge of the complex, they have made outstanding achievements. I believe second to none. By confiscating birds that had been illegally taken, they've set up a breeding program that have so far had 5 St. Vincent parrot chicks in the last 2 years, and this year there are 5 eggs, and this augurs very, very well for the future.
The much admired beauty and intelligence of parrots unfortunately make them high-priced pets. This admiration, though, comes with little regard for the bird's health. Most poached parrots die en route to their destinations. The few that do make it aren't any safer. Few wild-caught parrots take well to cages. Owners become quickly disenchanted, and parrots that at one time soared high above the forest often end up dying of neglect, disease, or abuse in someone's home. On average, a wild parrot's lifespan is reduced from 50 years to 5 when turned into a pet. St. Vincent and the other islands are now part of a treaty that bans the hunting and exportation of parrots. But the bird is still threatened. Plantation growth and hillside farming continue to cut into their numbers. A 1988 census estimated that no more than 500 wild St. Vincent parrots were left. Captive breeding is a hedge against extinction, allowing a store of the species in case decline cannot be reversed.
In the long term, it could be that some could be reintroduced into the wild, although this isn't the primary goal. The other reason for having them in captivity is so that the people can see their national bird. There's a physical feeling in your heart, a feeling of immense pride or feeling for your side winning. It's not something that's in their head, it's something that's in their heart.
Fortunately, the St. Vincent parrot can still be seen in the wild, and the Forest Division works to keep it that way. Ruth Reddock, head of Environmental Education Unit of the Forestry Division, spreads the word on agricultural practices that help save the forests, the watershed, and the parrot.
If there's a forest within an area, the forest provides water, so to speak, because of the trees and the roots, they keep the soil together, and this trickles the water out through the soil into the streams and eventually into the rivers. So if you have to do any farming at all, we would prefer you not to farm above 1,000 feet in height or in elevation. And if you have to plant on any elevation, we would prefer for you to use farming practices that would at least prevent a fast runoff of the water when we have rain. And because it is called a rainforest, this area we have a lot of rain anytime. We have done programs through the schools and also community programs, and we have to continue to do it and let them understand that if they do not protect the land, there would be no land for them to plant, whether it be bananas or other root crops.
The farmer knows when he cuts down the forest on a steep slope that he's losing fertility. He's not ignorant, he just has no other alternative. And I think that after a few years you come to realize it, and then you must take the next step, which says, well, instead of saying what you think should happen, try to help the people to help themselves. Try to help them to implement the recommendations that they know are best.
Yes, yes. Are you this end or?
That end.
Okay, you're that end. And how close are you to our forest boundary?
Very close.
Very close. So you're one of the farmers we have to get rare cooperation from. This area is a forest reserve, a wildlife area, and it's also one of the main catchment areas. What we mean is from the forest trees, the water is extracted into the streams and into the rivers. You have to learn to try to, along with the farming, to keep the soil together by planting other trees other than just bananas. Bananas by themselves, they do not hold the soil together.
Yeah, so in other words, we should plant even some valuable types of mangoes, heavy stemming, push off the wind, even help the banana from falling down.
That is correct, because you want to prevent, erosion from wind
and it will come in an acceptable time to still make money.
Yes, it will. So
and
when you
the water business, I think that is what.
What other wildlife you see in this area? We know there are some parrots and some other birds. What about the amount of the parrots you see now? You think it's increasing or decreasing? Is there more or less?
They're increasing.
They're increasing.
They visit me every morning and evening on my mango tree there.
On your mango tree.
To get the feed.
All right.
Okay.
All right, good.
Just north of St. Vincent sits the island of St. Lucia. Conservation is a priority here, where the environmental education program began nearly 2 decades ago. And it's still going strong. The Forestry Department takes pride in its accomplishments and plans never to let the environmental message become stale.
Andy, since today's a holiday, let us go to the river to play.
Oh, yes. And we can take our slingshots to shoot birds and roast them for lunch. You know it's easier to shoot birds than catch fish.
Let us catch this one and keep it as a pet.
Boy, that one is nice. Peter, you have birds like this in America?
I don't know. I never saw one. Let us catch this one.
No. You will be making a big mistake. You cannot catch me. I am the famous Amazona versicolor, a parrot, the national bird of your country, St. Lucia. You never heard of me? I am also called Jaco. And it is not right to keep me in a cage. It is against the law and you can be charged.
We will tell everyone what you told us.
Goodbye.
Here in the relative hustle and bustle of Castries, the island's capital, I caught sight of Paul Butler's newest PR toy, lumbering and squawking down the street. Just arrived from England, the Jaco Express, a refitted English bus that travels the island, giving lessons on wildlife and the rainforests.
Protect the forest, protect Jaco. It symbolizes St. Lucia's beauty and uniqueness.
It's the next step in the program here, bringing the classroom to the people.
Protect St. Lucia's forest, protect Jaco.
Jaco is another name for the national bird, the St. Lucian parrot. Residents have become so familiar with the parrot that they even know its Latin name, Amazona versicolor. The beauty of St. Lucia has made it one of the most popular tourist stops and winter home sites in the Caribbean. The needs of visitors and the burgeoning population put increasing demands on the island's resources. Banana farming here too presses on the forest reserves, where the ancient trees are the only home in the world for Jaco. The decline of the St. Lucian parrot at one time appeared unstoppable. Studies in 1950 put the population at about 1,000. In 1960, it was down to 500. In 1970, 250. When Paul Butler arrived in 1975, the number of parrots was barely above 150. Extinction was right around the corner. Today, the population is up to 300 and climbing.
Mr. Butler is no stranger to St. Lucia. He has been one of the persons who has been very instrumental in allowing us to have our Amazona versicolor, which almost went extinct. And now I will hand you over to Mr. Paul Butler, who will introduce to you some friends who are here with us today.
Thank you, Miss Paul.
Mr. Butler.
Good morning, children.
Good morning, Mr. Butler.
We're going to talk to you today about some of the birds and the forest. Now, I'm going to ask someone, what is the
50% of all the island's population are young people, which means this is where the environment will be saved or lost.
Say it louder, I can't hear you.
The name of the local bird is Jaco.
Jaco, give her a badge. Okay, now we're going to say a big hello to Mr. Aline, who's going to talk to you for a few minutes. Okay? Let's welcome Aline.
Okay, good morning, school.
Good morning, Mr. Ali.
Now, I am sure, as you know, in St. Lucia we have a lot of birds. Now, I'm not
the first students taught about Jaco are now adults. An appearance by the forestry department is a regular feature in every child's education.
Okay? Now, in St. Lucia, we have 75 different kinds of birds. 75 different kinds of birds. Each of you here could be a different bird. She might be a malfini, okay? She might be a kilibui. She might be a fufu, okay? These are some of the birds which we have in St. Lucia. So the chicken hawk or the malfini is our friend. Just like all the other birds, they are our friends. So when you see your dad or your uncle comes down with this big chicken hawk from the garden which he has just killed, you must tell him that he must not kill the birds. He must not kill the malfini or any other birds, because these birds are our friends. They are our friends, and we need them. We need them for our food, and we need them to keep things like flies and rats away. Are you going to do that for me?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure you're going to do that for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Amazona versicolor, the national bird of St. Lucia. Amazona versicolor, a Jaco found only in St. Lucia. Amazona versicolor, the national bird of St. Lucia. Amazona
versicolor, a Jaco Fanoni in St. Lucia, with colors of red, blue, yellow.
Again and again, with lectures, pageantry, and song, students are ingrained with knowledge of how fragile their island is and how they can help protect it.
Amazona versicolor, a Jaco Fanoni in St. Lucia.
Amazona versicolor, the national bird of St. Lucia. Amazona versicolor, a Jaco Fanoni in St. Lucia. Amazona versicolor, the national bird of St. Lucia.
Amazona versicolor, a Jaco Fanoni in St. Lucia. With colors of red, blue, yellow, and green, deep in the forest they can be seen.
Amazona versicolor, the national bird of St. Lucia. Amazona versicolor, a Jaco Fanoni in St. Lucia.
Proudly displayed on our coat of arms, Jaco is a symbol of our land. Amazona
versicolor, the national bird of St. Lucia. Amazona versicolor, a Jaco Fanoni in St. Lucia.
Give yourselves a clap.
Let's give yourselves a clap. That's good. All right, now who can tell me what the national bird is?
Amazona versicolor.
It's Amazona versicolor. You know that?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me more about the bird?
It is part of our wildlife and lives in the forest.
You ask any child, and they know what they're talking about. They're going to grow into totally responsible citizens. They already are. If half the children in larger countries could get a little snippet of that idea and carry it on, it would be wonderful.
Who wants to answer that question?
The birds help in our environment, and the forest is part of where we get our water. And with the trees, the birds can get a home, and with the birds, the environment would be better.
Are you all very proud of your bird?
Yeah.
Yeah? How proud? Say, we are very proud of our bird. 1, 2, 3. We are very proud of our bird. And I'm very proud of you.
I was lucky to meet the most famous parrots on St. Lucia, Lucy and Oswald.
Yeah. Like that? That's a good diet you got there.
You see, the St. Lucian parrot is native only to St. Lucia. But Lucy and Oswald were born on another island, the Isle of Jersey in the British Channel Islands, over 4,000 miles away.
How are you doing?
Back in the 1970s, these parrots were so close to extinction that British researchers borrowed several in the hope of breeding them in captivity. The strategy worked. By 1989, 20 parrots had been bred. The St. Lucian government decided a homecoming was in order. Lucy and Oswald were flown to their natural home, where they were greeted by government officials, including the Prime Minister, John Compton. The motorcade through the capital was a defining moment for all those involved with making the environment a priority.
I think it was one of my proudest moments in the 15 years I've been here when I saw the Prime Minister accompanied by the Minister of Agriculture and Head of Forestry come in with these two birds, having flown 4,000 miles to accompany them back to their homeland. And the children's faces when Mr. Compton drove past in a motorcade with these birds and arrived at Union, the kids were singing. It was remarkable.
It's kind of difficult to get through to the government that we need some kind of change and reform. But I found here in your country a wonderful program, starting from the top all the way down to all the children of this country.
I think that we, this generation, must realize that we are trustees of a rather fragile environment, and we must protect it and pass it on to generations. We cannot pass on deserts and polluted rivers and streams, etc., deforestation to a future generation. It is our duty now to do something positive, to pull ourselves back from the brink. We really, really in danger, and we have realized that in St. Lucia.
St. Lucia's wide environmental awareness has taken time, patience, and vision. Time and patience is required of everyone, but vision is reserved for a few.
Oh,
Paul founded and Gabriel Charles, head of forestry, in 1976, when Paul arrived on St. Lucia to study parrots. Gabriel had witnessed too many disturbing changes in the landscape to let Paul go home, and he challenged the grad student to stay on and implement the recommendations from his report.
Gabriel is like a father to me, a second father. I was a naive young college graduate coming out with big ideas, and he brought me down to earth, to reality. He was traditionally trained as a forester. He would lead me to look a little bit more on the side of reality, and I hopefully would guide him to look a little bit more on the side of conservation. And it was almost a symbiotic relationship that was developed.
It must be said that my voice was a lone voice in the wilderness. So I was talking, but very few people were listening. But it was when Paul came in, then instead of just me talking and people thinking that I was a crazy guy and so on, there was another crazy guy.
He cares for St. Lucia and its environment and the wildlife, and really he was an inspiration, nothing short of an inspiration. I only stayed in the Caribbean because of working with him. Every day you got up, you felt, here is a guy who's just struggling to make it, and he's doing it because he loves his island.
But it wasn't always that way for Charles, who used to roam the island with a slingshot, known locally as a catapult.
As a boy, I had my catapult. We used to kill anything that moved. Now, what has happened over the years, there has been not only my values have changed, but I would say the values of the whole of St. Lucia has changed towards wildlife. We have children coming to us now with an injured bird, saying that they found this bird and it's injured. They brought it to the forestry department. You find taxi drivers driving along the road, see a young bird that cannot fly, would drive it all the way to the forestry department.
The transformation heartens Charles, but it's not enough. Deforestation continues and has taken its toll, reducing many of St. Lucia's flowing rivers to mere trickles.
I can remember as a boy, this place used to be a haven for bathing. We used to come up here at school time during our holidays and come up here.
It's not much of a place to swim now, is it?
It was so deep. We even used to take a dive from the bridge and down into the water because it was deep and you could even swim. But if you should do that now,
kill yourself.
Yeah.
Kill yourself.
This sort of thing is clear to me that certain things are happening higher up, which is having this effect. And it's obvious that deforestation is taking place, which has this effect on our river.
You think there's any hope, or you think it's going to get better? The clearing is going to get any less? The people are more understanding?
We cannot, at this point in time, continue to cut any more forests. Because if we do, I don't think that we'll have anything left for our children. And my concern is that we should do something now. And if we should miss this opportunity, then I don't know what's going to happen to St. Lucia. I will not give up. This is the only way.
Unrelenting, continual. That's been the plan for all the islands. Through education in the schools and media, the message never stops.
I think there's a misconception amongst many people in the developed areas of the world that conservation is about fluffy animals, about protecting habitat. Conservation is really about people. The problems that's facing the environment are caused by people, and if they're to be addressed, it's people that's going to do the addressing. The heroes of this program are the local people, all the people that come together to make the program successful. If you want conservation to be sustainable, the whole community must look inwards and must all help and rally to the cause.
Yeah, and you have farmlands around this area?
It gives me a great deal of hope that what is happening in these smaller countries can be an example for larger countries. If a small country with modest finances can start a program like this in children and work to every person in the country, it has nothing to do with money. It's a thought process. It's a change of heart. These changed hearts are everywhere. I look into the faces of these islands' young people and hear them speak with a passion and knowledge about their environment that would be the envy of any concerned country on earth. They know they live on some of the most beautiful but vulnerable lands in the world, and they mean to preserve them.